I say to you now, where else can you have a horde of boars and adventurers fighting an owlbear monster in the middle of a town square? Friends and fellow gamers, welcome back to Adventure with Roger. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you played a next level RPG? That's right, a role-playing game, ladies and gentlemen. A role-playing game with 8 different races, 15 different classes, and 58 different subclasses. OMG. I'd name them all, but we only have one life to live, am I right? Pathfinder Kingmaker may have one of the best class customizations I've ever seen. Don't take that lightly, folks, because I've played a lot of games in my life. Not only can you choose almost any type of class or any weapon or armor proficiency, adaptation thereof to certain skills and spell lines, but you can add stat points just like in all your favorite old pen and paper tabletop games. Do you want to be a druid who can summon the biggest bear the land has ever seen? You can do that. Do you want to be an archer who can throw spells as fast, or if not faster, then you can shoot arrows like Legolas in Lord of the Rings? You can do that. Maybe you're a barbarian who wants to wield the biggest sword you've ever seen, but also dabbles as a bard who likes to sing to people, who sings songs into battle. You can do that. I can pretty much guarantee that if you try this game, that you will find the exact role-playing experience that you're looking for, and anything that goes along with that for that matter. Starting this game off, you will find yourself in a grand hall, surrounded by adventurers, gnomes, dwarves, orcs, humans, and many, many more. Candlelit scones, candelabras, chandeliers light the room with the mansion's owner, Jamandi Aldori, greets everyone, telling you, welcome to my mansion, a mighty sword lord. Also, the mayor of the area tells you you are looking for true heroes, strong and fearless, to go on an epic expedition. Together they tell you all about a lawless region close by known as the Stolen Lands. It's a disputed territory and has been disputed for a long, long time, but has never been fully taken. They go on to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the stolen lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness can claim dominion over that land, as well as a noble title. I don't want to divulge the whole beginning of the story, but what I will say is that in the first 5 minutes of starting gameplay, I knew potentially who my allies were going to be, and who I wanted to slit their throat. Not just kidding. Who I wanted to take down, for that matter. At the 10-minute mark, I had several chances to roleplay and choices to make. I also had characters trying to frame me and take control of the situation. There's definitely no rest for the weary in Pathfinder Kingmaker. From story mode difficulties ranging from just the storyline mode or easy mode, all the way up to unfair or completely unfair. And when I say unfair, that's exactly what I mean. There is literally a point in which it's so hard you just can't do it. You would have to change your tactics and possibly much more to prevail through the harder content in Pathfinder Kingmaker. If I had to compare Pathfinder Kingmaker to any of the role-playing experiences I've had, pen and paper ones, games out there over the years though, I'm not sure I would compare it to Pathfinder. Laughingly, I would compare it to Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition. Now, I know a lot of people out there that don't like Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition because the battle sequences were just so over the top due to the complexities of the combat. But there's so many auras and spells and songs and abilities going off all at the same time. It's borderline ridiculous at times. But thank goodness, we're not playing pen and paper. We're not playing on a tabletop. It's fluidly happening on your screen right in front of you as an epic video game. Also, something I want to mention is how ambitious and legendary all the systems are in this game. Not only is it trying to be a traditional role-playing game, but it also tries its best to be a kind of city builder, and all the while your character is trying to build an epic empire of their own. And at times, I felt like it was almost too much and more of a job than a decision to have fun completing things. But I gotta tell you, for instance, there are some playthroughs in which I was well over 40 or 50 hours in, and I was so busy with trying to keep my city from virtual damnation or oblivion that it became almost impossible to explore the areas without losing the game. However, months after that playthrough, I was going through the bajillion options that this video game has, and found an option to turn off the kingdom management. Whew, wipe that sweat off your brow, folks, because thank goodness for that. I can't believe that I didn't read through the options sooner and was able to turn that option off, but I had a good time and I don't have any regrets. Let's talk briefly about the graphics now. For a top-down 3D game, it does a great job. The trees and water are especially good. The shaders are very nice. It really does a great job of drawing you into the world. And it's hard not to wish you could play this game multiplayer with your friends. Like each of you play one of the characters in your group. That is, if you have any friends. Sad face. But I digress, like so many like to say. Next is the monsters. I love the diversity of the bad guys in this game, and the AI does an excellent job of challenging you. Plus, most of the monsters are so cool looking, just from simple kobolds, rats, blobs, fairies, boars, bears, giant eagles, giants, frost giants, spiders, dragons, and so much more. There's so many monsters in this game that are so well thought out and so well done. I literally can't say enough about how awesome the boss monsters are, and the battles when engaging the bosses would put a smile on anybody's face for that matter. Also, briefly, I'd just like to say that the game has different seasons, different weather dynamics, and obstacles like bottlenecks and tight spaces where it's hard for your party to get through, and traps set up in just the right spots. Also, the traps can wipe your party and get your character permanently killed depending on what difficulty you're playing on. So remember to save the game sometimes and to put some points into the stats that let you disarm traps now and then. You won't regret it. One interesting part of Kingmaker is the map and how you're traveling, almost like moving your character piece on a tabletop game from one spot to the next. The map lighting up and staying explored after you've been there is really nice. However, sometimes I wish it would just tell me where to go, and the game doesn't hold your hand when it comes to finding quest areas. Sometimes this will lose you the game even because you're running out of time to save the world or some other epic encounter and you just can't find it before time runs out. Also, sometimes you find yourself having to make skill checks to continue the storyline, and these skill checks are usually based on your stats, like a dexterity check or your knowledge of arcana or religion, which is really cool and an aspect I really love about the game because it makes your stat choices feel more meaningful outside of just combat itself. Okay, so it sounds like I love this game so far, and I always want to be fair to my viewers and try to find something, if anything, wrong with the game. Honestly, guys, my list on this is not very long for things that I don't like, but if I had to choose something, I have to pick the fact that in some cases in real life, playing role-playing games with some people, some of your friends in real life, or just people you know, playing with a drunk dungeon master or a dungeon master who is maybe high on acid when writing out his campaign. And that being said, there's a few quests where that's the feeling I got in Pathfinder Kingmaker. They're just impossible to accomplish quests without looking them up online, and it felt like the writers in some cases were smoking too much long bottom leaf and needed to take a little break and leave Middle Earth for a few minutes to reset their perspective. I mean, a great tabletop game requires a special understanding between the dungeon master and the players. In this case, the developers and the players. But let's be real, if you had to play through Mirkwood to pick up mushrooms too often, and you don't even like hallucinating, it's getting old. It may be time to speak up and say, hey man, look, I've got a +5 to my roll here, and I also rolled a d20 or a nat 20 on my roll. What is it gonna take to get the hell out of here? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you can put up with, you know, the occasional hour out of every 10 hours driving you bananas and push through the dungeons, then you will probably enjoy the story complexity of Pathfinder Kingmaker. I really enjoyed my first couple of playthroughs, but I never really reached the end of the game until recently, and almost wished that I never did. However, I would recommend this game. I still want to start over, turn up the hardness of the game, the difficulties, and someday the game, you know, play it all the way through in one sitting, maybe, if that's even possible. Well, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. As a whole, I give this game 8 mushrooms out of 10. I want to say thank you so much for being here today. You got to check out this game. It's one of the best role-playing games out there. And I wouldn't say that unless I really meant it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and check out the links in the description to my Discord, where you can join a great community and talk to people about your favorite games. You'll also get updated about whenever I upload a video. Go ahead and check out the links to my social media, where I shout out on Twitter now and then, and check out my Patreon, where you can support the channel for just $1.50 per month. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Once again, I want to thank you so much for being here. My name's Roger, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Take care of yourself, everybody.